Was at the end of this championship, the winner gets £70,000 in prize money and tryouts with all the Works World Superbike teams. So Michael Packy, who won this championship 2 years ago, has come back to Euros to try and win the money to take to World Superbike next year. He had a bad year last year on an RC45. Now, next to him, Gian Dogex, who we know from his endurance teamwork in Kawasaki, sometimes with Terry Reimer. He was the young hopeful, the French Kawasaki importer, brought into their endurance team at Le Mans, the Bol d'Or, etc. A bit crash-happy, but quite quick as well. He's a young hope. Here is our main man, if that's the third man on the grid, number 2, Spike Edwards. Mike, the old dustman from Wigan, one of the hardest-looking men around, one of the nicest-looking men around, and his sponsors, V&M. They've built an engine specifically for this race. On the outside of the grid, another Ducati, Philippe Mouchet, well-known French superbike rider, been there, done that in French domestic racing, never quite made the impression we thought he should do on international racing. So only 2 Ducatis on the front row. They sandwich 1 Kawasaki and 1 Honda. There's the championship. Mariottini and Mouchet on the Ducatis have been running away with it so far. Peter Haug there in joint second. He's the top man on a Kawasaki. Stefan Shishovic, 4th place. He's the reigning champion. In fact, I think he's won this title twice. 5th, Michael Packy. He won this championship 2 years ago. This is Mariottini. He's the championship leader, number 26. Hasn't qualified that impressively. He's on the 2nd row. 5th qualifier, number 26, Camillo Mariottini. A young man hoping to move up to World Superbike very soon indeed. But if you're rooting for the Brits in this race, I reckon your money's going to have to be on number 2, Mike Edwards. One of the most versatile racers around. He's been everywhere. He finished 2nd at the Bol d'Or last year in his first endurance ride. He had his first ride on a 500, a rock out in the Macau Grand Prix. Finished 2nd, broke the lap record. So he's a veteran. He's well into his 30s now, Mike Edwards. But he's the only man, we reckon here, who can even hope to put it across the Europeans and especially put it across the Ducatis. You will have seen from our qualifying capture that Michael Packy did 1 minute 39.5. They used the same circuit, obviously. No shortcuts, no short circuits used here. The full Melbourne loop in. There they go, round the old hairpin at the bottom of Craner Curves. They head up now under Starkey's Bridge, through Starkey's very fast. Flat stick on a 600 for sure. Heading up towards McLean's next, Keith. The right-hander that I keep reminding you about, your first time I saw you on television crawling across the grass there, I think.
The only time you've ever seen me crawling. Maybe not then, so round we go.
To Coppice now. Coppice corner, the most vital corner on the track. Couple of apexes, approach blind, and you've got to be right on the pipe coming out of there for the launch down the back straight. And you watch the Ducatis there into the S's now, and again coming out of the S's, these 740cc Ducatis, Keith, all the guys like Mike Edwards say they're not quicker than their 4s, they just leap away 20 yards straight out of the corner.
It's a complaint that's been levelled so often in Superbike at the moment, and well, we'll see how it all comes about in the bigger class, but I don't see much happening in the 600s at the minute because the 748s have just been introduced to the class. So maybe there's a weighting type problem, an ongoing penalty for race-winning bikes if it starts to leap away, a bit like NASCAR and things like that.
Yep.
The Americans can change the rules as they go, as only Americans can usually.
And now, German touring cars, they do that as well, don't they? They weight up the winning car. They stick half a suitcase of lead in your boot.
Or make you take the commentary team on board. Right,
disastrous.
this is going to be a very interesting race. And
Yep.
when you started to mention £70,000 in a World Superbike test, we had to tie Steve Parrish to the chair in the studio because I thought we were going to lose him then. He was out the door looking for the ride.
Well, this is why Andy Pallett, you see, the Britain we talked to earlier, number 5, that's why he's doing the whole series. That's why Packy's doing the whole series. He's looking to get back into World Superbike. He had a disastrous year last year with a Belgian RC45 team. The year before that, Keith, he wiped the floor with the best anybody could offer in 600. A real talent. number 12, Michael Packy, the Belgian, nearest to us.
And very, very quick indeed. Watch for Packy. I've got to say he's a bit of a favourite here, isn't he? Edwards as well might just be able to pull something out. Watch for number 2, Mike Edwards. And we wait for the red flag to be. There goes the green at the back, so the red at the front will clear to one side. The lights will go on to red and then green straight away. Oh, dear me. Mouchet, a superbly anticipated start there from Mouchet. But look at that, Kawasaki straight through there. But Mouchet it is. Mouchet then from France, and Team Ducati Suma, Ducati 748 is into the lead.
That's the French importer team on straight on. Who's that, Keith? Number 65.
So...
he's really in the sand at Redgate, isn't he? And Spike Edwards made an absolutely disastrous start, an appalling start from number 2, Mike Edwards.
It was very much an anticipated start there, and Mouchet was the man who really did it. But look at this, 48 right away in there. Jihan Dorgex from France on the Banzai bike, if ever there was a better named one. I can't think of it at this moment, indeed. So Dorgex is already into the lead on the Kawasaki, so blows away the theory already, doesn't it?
Well, he's the second place qualifier, Keith, and as you pointed out, Kawasaki's have the top end. First, second and third at Hockenheim. Now, where's Packy, number 12? He went through in the leading group, didn't he?
Yes, he did. He was in third place, he was, and 63 behind him. I think it was William Costas, so I wasn't expecting him to be just there. Second
row qualifier on a Honda as well, so he's the first CBR along into the S's.
Costas under pressure now from number 2, Mike Edwards. Mike Edwards drops it across Costas.
That's what we want. We need Mike Edwards to get over that bad start, fight his way up to the front.
This is the first lap. Through goes the race leader.
And that's Jihan Dorgex. Now here's the Redgate kerfuffle at the start of proceedings, Keith. Where's it all happen? In the middle of the pack?
Usually happens, starts on the inside of the track and gets forced to the outside, and the poor devil that's on the outside ends up launching himself into the sand. Actually, that was well held, I've got to say. He'd be a good motocrosser.
Not the first man to take to the... It's Emmanuel Lentaigne, the guy, number 65.
Another Kawasaki bogging itself down in the sand.
Yep, the short race for Emmanuel. Now, Dorgex, Mouchet and Packy we have as the top 3 on our monitor after the first lap, with Spike Edwards in 4th. He had a disastrous start, so Spike has got to be working very hard. Bike number 2 when you see him, currently in 4th. It's 5th man down.
Oh, dear
That was
me.
Costas, I think.
Costas it was. William Costas then for France launches his Honda at the old hairpin. Well, he's okay, but that's quite a quick place to go and fall down. Didn't quite catch what he did there, whether he touched the rear wheel into that corner, touched the man in front of his rear wheel, but the Honda is well and truly second hand.
Definitely,
please.
Definitely. Spike Edwards, number 2, 4th place, closing in on the leading trio. He's a man of a real fan of Dorgex.
Dorgex with it up in the air then, so Dorgex, and this is a feature of 600 racing, sideways on and taking to the sand, and we've not been disappointed so far.
We haven't. Now then, here come the Ducatis. No, we don't. Here comes Costas.
Now here goes the Honda, I think, and he did it all on his own. Look, there wasn't anybody in the vicinity at all. Obviously, when he just touched the brakes, coming down into the braking area at the old hairpin, for some extremely inexplicable even, reason, he launched himself.
Oops. That is what... Is that Marco?
That's a chain off of Marco's bike, definitely. So Marco, is that...
That's not... That is not...
Gianluca Galasso, is that?
No, we'll get to tell you in a minute. Look at that crash helmet. Let's have a look. It's Lucanelli.
Lucanelli,
we were right
definitely
first time.
Lucanelli. So Lucanelli with a chain off.
Unusual.
He's going to be happy, isn't he?
Marco Lucanelli, ex-500cc world champion, currently lying, or was like 8th equal in this championship. So he was being very self-deprecating when we talked to him earlier. And you don't see that happen very often nowadays, a broken chain on a motorcycle in this quality.
It's not actually broken, it's just jumped off the sprockets, look.
Oh, yes, it has.
It's complete, it's not broken off. Well, it's because it didn't jam. Oh, look at this then. So, 12 there, going into second place. Michael Packy looking for a way past 48, Dorgex.
This is the battle for the lead, as you can see from the caption. Philippe Mouchet, the whole shot merchant, still 3rd. Mike Edwards still 4th. Multiple champion Stefan Shishovic next along in 5th.
Well, Dorgex is equal on points with Packy in the series. They both got 16 points, so we'll wait and see what happens there.
Sorry, Keith, had a little heart failure there as Packy again looked at the inside of the Kawasaki. Now, these are 2 young Continental riders who've been there or thereabouts for a couple of years. Certainly Packy, we expected to leap up into World Superbike last year, but he picked the wrong motorbike to do it on.
And look at Spike Edwards in 3rd place on bike number 2. So Mike Edwards then, the V&M Racing Honda of Mike Edwards is there. And, that can't be too bad.
Well, seeing as how he made the most appalling start I've seen all weekend, it was about 8th or 9th into Redgate on the first lap. The tough guy's working hard. He's a deceptive specimen, Spike. I'm a fan. He looks so hard. Look at that Ducati.
Packy looking for a way around the outside of the Kawasaki man, but not a chance of that. But all the time that they're tripping each other up, it gives Mike Edwards every opportunity to close in. We're up towards Goddard's now. This is a 24-lap race. 60 miles will be covered. That's the VMN Honda, and he has the fastest lap so far, 1:41.76, which compares not too favourably with a pole time of 1:39.58.
But there again, Packy was 2 seconds quicker than anybody else, Keith.
Well, you often have to look at that and think to yourself, was that a timing mistake?
Oil flags are out at Redgate. Oil flags at Redgate, I saw. Maybe from Emmanuel Lentan's little scamper down the kitty litter earlier. Now, the big question, what's the gap between Spike in third and the men in front of him? Answer.
Oh, and there it is, down at Toll. It's at Craners that you've got oil down, Julian. That's the cement dust there coming up. And that's a bit of a worry right in the middle. And that might have been what took the Honda man down earlier on when William Costas crashed out there.
Or did he drop it?
Well, there it is. Right in the middle of the track, almost on the racing line.
That's a worry.
Well, it's not now they can see it, but it was when they couldn't.
Yes. Packy is in front. Packy is in front. The fast man in this class with a very well-backed team. That's a really big professional team, Michael and Marco Lucanelli run. Oh, the question is, can the Kawasaki, another new bike for this year, as I think Steve Parrish pointed out, Keith, what can that do against the Duke? The Duke's got the grunt, the Kawasaki's got the ultimate top speed, the Honda's the old hack in third place.
Well, I think it's not a question of what it can do, it's a question of what tracks are going to be racing on as the series unfolds, because at the end of the day, at Hockenheim, it was the Kawasaki that took the win, and the Ducati here should really be slightly a better bike. Let's take a look at that overtaking manoeuvre and saw Packy move into the lead. Well, that was one of those, yes, I'm up the inside kind of a shots, isn't it? As 48. Jihan Dorgex has to give way to number 12, Michael Packy from Belgium. Great move there.
He's a class act. I don't know whether you saw the Super Sports 2 years ago, Keith, but he was hammering people like Phil Borley, who was real European Championship class. Even Phil here couldn't keep him in sight. Packy smashed them into the ground 2 years ago.
We're at Redgate, and now, of course, what's happening is Mike Edwards in third place is closing on Dorgex. Mariottini is in fourth. Šišović is in fifth, and Whitby is up to ninth place now. Well, that's a good ride from him. And I've got Emmett being in there. So we look down our leaders, and Whitby I've got up into something like sixth place at the moment now. So our captain is out of date.
Yep, that's Howard Whitby, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
He's been around for a while in this class.
So Howard Whitby on bike number 9. Watch for him, the P&S Glazing Wakefield bike. And good stuff from him indeed. Jason Emmett, Sean Emmett's brother, is in ninth place at the moment.
Packy runs away at the front. Dorgex dropping back into the fearsome clutches of Mike Edwards. Look at him go down. This is the hometown favourite, Mike Edwards. He's been a Supersport champion in the UK, but a long time ago in the 400 class. Keith, Edwards has really never fulfilled his promise for me. Second in the bowl last year, lap record at Macau in his first time on a 500, all at the age of over 30. He's one of those, what, worked single races.
He's through. Come on, Jules, he's through. He's gone through. Mike Edwards, praise indeed for the man, and of course he is very, very good. Straight away he comes back at him, but no, Edwards seems to have it covered, or does he? Whoa, dear me, that was close to the old front wheel going out of Dorgex's bike then. So, Jihan Dorgex gets Mike Edwards lean on him, and you've only got to look into the visor of Mike Edwards to know that he means business, and that's first thing in the morning.
He's such a nice bloke, but he has the visage of a man who's played far too long in the Wigan Rugby League team. He is from Wigan. Professional racer most of the time. Here's his pass. Well,
Dorgex really is trying to look away back up the inside of Mike Edwards here, and Dorgex's Kawasaki is hopping on the front end. That's always a bit of a worry, but Mike Edwards, the brave, decides, I worked hard for this place, you're not having it. Drops it straight across the nose of Dorgex and stays in second place. Packy, this is your man. Packy, bike number 12, race leader at the moment. Second place now is Edwards. Dorgex is third, Mariottini fourth, Šišović is fifth, Howard Whitby sixth, Chambon 7th, Howard 8th, and Jason Emmett is in 9th place.
Nice ride from Jason. Stefan Chambon in 7th. He's the supermoto man. We used to sing him on the singles, sliding. But Mikael Packy, another ex-schoolboy motocross champion, by the way. There's a lot of them about. He's down to the 41 and a halves, Keith. Way off his qualifying time. But you were given to suggest that 2 seconds faster than anybody else qualifying time might be bandits.
Well, it's just one of those suggestions, but at the end of the day, he's really looking after it, isn't it? So he's really going very, very well indeed, Packy. If he had that amount, 2 seconds a lap in hand, then he's just going to run away with it. So he can relax. He's got a lot of laps to go, 24 in total. Let's take a look at the style of the man. So Packy, well, same team as Lucanelli. Lucanelli's the star worldwide. Of course, Packy still has that dizzy height to achieve, but really with the style like this, well, you can't really deny him. 600 breeds some very, very fast men.
Yep, ex-motocrosser, European champion 2 years ago. Only a handful of points, I beg your pardon, in World Superbike last year on an uncompetitive RC45. But tuned by the same man who used to tune Stefan Merton's works Hondas, Keith. So he had the material, but it was very disappointing. That sort of thing can do murder to your morale. Here's Spike Edwards, the man who has been there, done that. He's ridden everywhere. He's ridden every type of bike. And he now he's getting away from Dorgex. He's getting away from the Kawasaki. If Spike can close in on Mikael Packy, it will be an absolute miracle, won't it?
I wonder what you were going to say then, Julian, and I was about to start giving you a real hard time, because I think Packy has this job well and truly sorted out. We're looking at Mike Edwards. That's the B&M bike, and Edwards is a brilliant rider, but at the end of the day, Packy's qualifying time, even if it may be a little less optimistic, he does seem to have plenty in hand, and he's pulling away bit by bit. Dorgex then is on bike 48. He is giving Mike Edwards a hard time. Edwards is quick through that particular track. That's McLean's there.
And he's having to work hard, because we believe that Mike has the least effective machinery out of this top three. Special engine notwithstanding, these Honda CBRs not as competitive as they used to be in Super Sport 600 racing. There's the top three. Do I see the championship leader next along? I do, as Dorgex looks at the inside. No. Hello, action down the bottom of Craner again. No, it's in the middle of Craner, and that looks like a yellow Ducati bouncing along. Is it, I ask myself? No, it's not.
No,
it's a 600.
It's 43, Harry van Beek from the Netherlands, and he's dug his beak into the dirt, and look at the state of his bike. Well, that's what happens when you join the Craner Club. Your mechanics have nightmares for years to come, and you can see why now. I think that's well bent. Anybody want to buy a second-hand bike?
Van Beek's got an enormous truck outside our commentary box, Keith. He'll need a couple of carrier bags to take that one home in, I think. Now then, Edwards coming over the line in second place. Let's look at the gap, 3 seconds now. You're right, Keith, Packy's pulling away as he wants to.
Yeah, easily as well. Mike Edwards, though, hasn't been able to make the break on Dorgex. And look at Mariottini. Mariottini closing in on them as well. Well, Mariottini is the series leader on 38 points over Mouchet. Well, Mouchet, where is Mouchet?
We've lost him.
I haven't seen him for a long time. Mouchet's gone off our board. I'm looking down. Yes, Mouchet is out of this race. So Mariottini here is going to extend his lead by a mile if he possibly can. The only other guy in the top three that might be able to do something is Peter Haug, and he's in 8th place at the moment. So it's Mariottini who is going to extend his lead today.
Packy only in equal 5th after 2 rounds with just 16 points. So he's going to worry about his relative position to the man at the back of that group we just seen, Mariottini, number 26, Camillo Mariottini, the Italian on the Ducati. Stefan Shishovic and Stefan Chambon way out of the hunt, 8 seconds behind Mariottini in 4th place. So it's all about the front 4.
Same as World Championship points in Grand Prix, 25, 20, 16, 13, 11, 10 is the way that it goes, right the way down from then to 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So it counts down to 15th place. You've got to get as many points as you can. Mike Edwards still in second. Seems to have a little more control at the moment over Dorgex behind him. But then the man that's very worrying indeed for both of these is 26, Mariottini.
A young Italian hoping to get that £70,000 budget to go to World Superbike next year. And look at him on the inside. Number 26 is the man we're talking about, Mariottini. Spike Edwards, the Englishman, the Lancastrian, the Wigan man. Number 2 over the line in second place. How far behind Packy is he? 3.11. Well, the gap's constant, Keith.
Well, certainly the pit crews will be keeping them well informed. Mike Edwards has the disadvantage of being in front of the men that are moving very quick at the moment. Well, he's certainly got the grip he needs. Out of Redgate, down Hollywood, into Craner curves now, where you saw that cement dust in the middle of the track. Mike Edwards, number 2 in second position. 48 behind him is Dorgex. Then it is the threat of Mariottini is in 4th place at the minute. Shoshovic is still 5th. Chambon 6th. Howard Whitby 7th. Haug is in 8th place, and Jason Emmett is still in 9th.
Now then, is Mike Edwards holding up Dorgex? Has Dorgex got something in hand? That green Kawasaki number 48 will have a much higher ultimate top speed, but as you always point out to me around Donington Park, Keith, doesn't matter so much.
Doesn't matter so much, you've still got to use it as Dorgex goes underneath Mike Edwards. Well, that's onto the back straight, and that is very optimistic indeed, but he's done it, he's held the tight line, so the fast Kawasaki, we're going to get a head-to-head now and see just which is the fastest bike, and I have to say that neither of those had much to do with it. Underneath comes Mariottini. Well, while they were fighting with each other down the straight, Mariottini comes in. What a great shot that was. Mariottini just takes the mickey, basically. 4th to 2nd in one move at the S's. Mike Edwards now a little bit shell-shocked. No, Mike's been around too long. You don't rattle Mike Edwards. What can he do? Packy disappears over the horizon. He's leading away over 3 seconds. This lot are really starting to trip themselves up now. 26, the championship leader in 2nd place now, Camillo Mariottini. What's the gap? We'll find out in a minute. The gap between him and Michael Packy. Camillo Mariottini then has gone away in front of Mike Edwards, and Dorgex is dropping off the back. Let's take another look at this. Well, Dorgex did brilliantly here. He held a very tight line, got the power on that long right-hander out onto the back straight. Mike Edwards had to pick it up just a little tiny bit. They were side by side, but getting in their draft, which was huge because they were so close together, was the man behind them, Mariottini. Mariottini got the slingshot down the straight, up the inside then, and of course Mariottini was on a Ducati 748, which it's still debatable whether that is a faster motorcycle than anything else out there.
Well, it's not faster in a straight line, is it, Keith? What the 4-cylinder guys, certainly Dorgex and Edwards will tell you, is that out of corners, it leaps away 20 yards immediately. You can't stay with it as it punches out the corners.
But it got the drive out of that long corner onto the back straight, and that's what would have got him into the slipstream of the other two. We're looking back at the race leader, Michael Packy it is from Belgium, and well, barring a mechanical problem, he's got this.
Yes. I bet you he won't look like he's been at the office at all day. Now, where's Mike Edwards got to? There he is. 3rd. We've lost Dorgex off this battle,
off the back, yes. He really does seem to be struggling somewhat now. Mike Edwards as well. Well, it's going to be a bit of a procession unless Mike Edwards can come up with something for Mariottini, and you've got to say that probably not, because Mariottini has been one of the quickest men out on the track, besides Michael Packy, that is. So I would suggest that Packy has cleared off. Next man to clear off will be Mariottini on bike 26 here in our picture, and then poor old Spike Edwards will have to sit and watch on bike 2 as he does it.
Right, the man who leads the championship is in 2nd place. The man he must be most worried about over the whole season is Michael Packy. He leads the race. So the Belgian and the Italian will have a long-term strategy to worry about, as well as just this race. I remind you that at the end of the year, the winner picks up a series of tests with the Works Superbike teams, and he will have a budget of £70,000 in his back pocket. The Flamini organisation, who are running this alongside World Superbike, this is the European Super Sport Championship, looking to bring on young talent into the Superbike arena, Keith.
Yes, anything to say about competition with the Thunderbike class of a very similar nature that's racing in Grand Prix? Of course, that wouldn't come into it at all, really.
Well, I had an audience with Mr. Flamini himself much earlier in the year, and he had a lot to say about it.
I'll bet. And we haven't got enough time in this commentary to cover it. We're looking at the 2nd place man, number 26, Camillo Mariottini from Italy, riding a Ducati 748. Well, they look like a 916, and they are just the little brother, aren't they, of the World Superbike leading machines.
Absolutely.
So then, Mariottini goes through. Let's take a look at this.
Oh dear.
We've got a bit of a battle going on here. Howard Whitby is number 9. What's for Howard Whitby? He's about to be zapped by 55. Jason Emmett. So Jason Emmett is on 55, up the inside at the old hairpin. Well, Howard Whitby didn't exactly give him it, did he? Behind him is Michael Eberl from Germany on bike 15, but it was Jason Emmett stitching up Whitby.
And that was 7th and 8th place being disputed there. Let's look further down the leaderboard, see what's around. Yes, Whitby is now back in 7th, Emmett is 8th. Andy Pallett, who we talked to earlier, the man who's doing the whole championship, is running in 11th. Into Redgate again. And really it's stringing out at the front now, isn't it? As we suspected, Michael Packy running away with it. Camillo Mariottini, the European Championship leader, up into second place. Mike Edwards heroically hanging on to third place. Jean Dorgex in fourth on the Kawasaki.
Down at the old hairpin. Oh, and look at this, and it's Whitby back in front, I think. It's Whitby, and then it's Emmett on 55. So watch for Emmett. Well, brother Sean is out. Well, he's out completely of the Grand Prix at the moment because Sean Emmett just dumped the Lucky Strike Suzuki in the last Grand Prix. Jason Emmett looking not to emulate his brother here at Donington Park. But Howard Whitby, I haven't seen Howard Whitby riding this good for a little while. Well,
you don't. He is definitely in. We're talking about veterans, and Howard was. Oh dear, Howard is one of those men who, right at the start of the class existence I was referring to earlier, he was one of those British privateers who got out there and did it when Super Sport 600 first came of age as a European class.
Michael Eberl is giving it the biggest hard time at the moment. He's on bike 15. Number 5 that's moved through there is Andy Pallett. Well, we know Andy Pallett's well capable on a 600. We've seen him go good before. So a real bunch of Brits are through. Goes 15 there. Michael Eberl goes into the lead in this bunch. Eberl, we're looking, he's in 8th place. No, 7th place. He's moved up to 7th place. Eberl is in 7th place.
Andy Pallett, number 5, the only Briton who's doing the whole series. It's a gang fight, this, isn't it?
It is. Andy Pallett, though, having a good ride here. We're looking through 15 is Michael Eberl. Then it's 9 that you can see in this slow-mo is Howard Whitby. And Andy Pallett is on bike number 5. Here's the race leader, Michael Packy.
Sorry, Keith, got across you there. It's the main man, Michael Packy, ex-motocrosser, hope of Belgian racing. They've had the de Radiguez brothers up there winning Grand Prix. Stefan Mertens winning World Superbike races over the years. And what they need now is a new hero, and this is the most likely candidate for that country. In fact, for the whole of the Low Country, you'd say, Keith, there isn't a Dutch hope around either, is there, to rank with these lads?
Not nowadays, there's not. And of course, Holland used to produce some wonderful motorcycle races. Fastest lap, Michael Packy, he can do it at will, can't he?
Yeah,
just turns it on. He's controlling this race from the front. Well, like his Ducati namesake, I suppose, as far as bikes are concerned, Carl Fogarty, he's easing away at the front of the field here. Well, in perhaps even more emphatic a way than Carl did in the first Superbike race today.
Well, last time I actually took notice of the monitor, Keith, the gap was about 3.3 seconds at the front of the field. It's now over 5 seconds. So as you just identified, Michael Packy able to reel off fastest laps absolutely at will on the 748 Ducati. A very good team put together by Francis Batter, by the way, who used to run Superbike. Here's the punch up for 7th and 8th. 15, that's Eberl leading it at the moment. Andy Pallett, number 5, 31 years old from Bury St Edmunds. Although you may have gathered from his accent, he lived in Australia for 5 years. He's on the charge, isn't he?
Number 9, Howard Whitby's right with him as well. Whitby's been riding good all the way through this. So the Honda of Michael Whitby.
Straight on. Is that a
That is Whitby. I was talking about him, gave him the kiss of death, though. It looks like we've got a break of some kind at the back of the bike there. He's taken a good long look. There's Pallett's in front now. Pallett is up into, well, that must be 6th place, 7th place.
7th place.
7th place. Pallett is in 7th place. Take another look at this. So number 9, it is Howard Whitby. We'll see if anything happens to his bike. Pallett went through, and number 9, yeah, there it goes. Howard Whitby had a problem with his bike. It's either blown up or coughed up or something along those lines, and he goes straight up the slip road. But Andy Pallett, because we were watching Whitby, he almost missed him going through at the S's.
Howard Whitby looked down at his left foot, didn't he? Gear change lever, wondering whether he lost that. Meanwhile, here we go back with the leader, Michael Packy. 141.16, his fastest lap last time round. He's leading now by 6.5 seconds. I checked the lap ago, it was 5.1. Keith, he is taking the mickey, this lad.
Yeah, I don't think there's a better phrase in that particular case, because Michael Packy is just head and shoulders above everybody else here at the moment, or at least his team setup is. And another fastest lap. Well, just about every lap is a faster lap. Let's take a look back for 2nd place now. And we take a look back for Mariottini on bike 26. There he goes through. Then it should be Edwards on bike number 2. Mike Edwards. Well, did Mike Edwards go through?
He did.
Dorgex is still in 4th place. Shashovinic is still in 5th place, and Stefan Chambon is still in 6th. This is the only battle going on the track, so we're going to stay with it for a while. Everyone else is in place. This is the battle for 7th place.
Eberl, the German, leads at number 15. Number 5, Andy Pallett, as I say, from Bury St Edmunds. 6th in the Super Cup in '94, the British Championship, after riding only in 6 rounds.
Yeah, but amazingly, Peter Haug is now in amongst there. Haug is right up there doing the business as well. He was a long way back. He was back in 10th place just a little while ago. So Peter Haug having a great ride there, coming through into his place. So Haug on bike 49. Watch for him. He seems to be the quickest man out on the track in this bunch at the moment as Pallet goes down the inside. Pallet looking for a way by, and he gets it at Goddard's. Then it's Peter Haug looking for a way. Well, he got it a bit on the wide side there, but he's not going to lose that position. 15 is still Michael Eberl.
Now, Peter Haug's the form man, Keith, second equal in the championship. 49 who you've drawn attention to. What's going on? Here's the Pallet replay. There he goes, going fast into Goddard's. I thought he'd gone too wide. And here is, I thought he'd lost it here, I really did.
Well, he managed to drag it back. I think he did lose it in this particular set of circumstances because this is a different VT altogether. So round the outside he goes. But so wide, I'm surprised he didn't manage to disappear out into the weeds. Back with Michael Packy, 15 laps of 24, I remind you.
Yep, I didn't get to use my paid to get back in again line there around Andy Pallet.
Well, save it for a better one.
I will do. But Michael Packy now 141.77 last time around. Compare that to second place man's lap of 143.0. That gives you some idea of the ease with which the young Belgian is pulling away from a very good and, well, a very competitive field. For some reason, I've forgot to research. I'm embarrassed to tell you. I never Packy's any points in the moment.
Well, one certainly isn't through lack of performance, because the way he's going today, he's got enough rounds in this series to be gaining back the lead for this as well. Packy then a massive lead over Mariattini on bike 26 in second place. Mike Edwards is still third. Dorgex is still fourth. Shashovic is still in fifth. And then Chambon is still in sixth, but it's all going on behind them for seventh place. That's the one that we're interested in. Here it is. Pallet still holds it. 15 behind him is Michael Eberl. He's been in front at some stage, but Pallet seems to have it covered at the moment.
Well, that's a lot more of a considerate line there on Goddard than they had last time. Much more like it, Andy. And he's pulling away from this fight, isn't he?
And who comes through 49 now? 49 is Peter Haug from Switzerland. He's the man that's in the second place in the championship at the moment.
He is, and he's on one of these fast new Kawasaki's as well, so he's travelling. He's made up lots of ground, as Keith said earlier. We'd lost him off the leaderboard, but here he is.
Well, I think the man who's done best out of this bunch at the moment to try and break the toe is Andy Pallet. Andy Pallet really has done a superb job on bike number 5, but it's this guy that's chasing him, 49. That is the man, Peter Haug from Switzerland, on the Zumsteg Racing Team Kawasaki. Zumsteg, that's a nice woody sound, isn't it?
It has, isn't it? Yeah, Andy Pallet to keep it even. The Amott controls Bury St Edmunds Honda. So, you know, he's on the CBR, the bike that's been the mainstay of this class, what, for years, hasn't it, Keith? With the odd intrusion from FZR Yamahas. And all of a sudden, the bike you could guarantee to be competitive on is almost redundant, because the Ducatis and this new Kawasaki have come in and really turned it upside down. But that makes this ride from Andy Pallet, number 5, currently in 7th place, even more praiseworthy in my view.
Yes, I can't get away from that, Julian. For once, you have it completely covered, and no help from me will make it any better.
Oh, I'm learning, Keith. You know, I'll do it without the training wheels next week.
Oh, look at Peter Haug, got the front bouncing there. So Haug on the brakes. Well, he's making that Kawasaki work for him for sure. That's a quack up after Andy Pallet.
And that should be an ultimately fast model. Here he is on the brakes, as we just saw. Bounce, bounce, bounce. That's very, very frightening.
Well, that's 8th place man we're looking at there. 49 is the 8th place man, Peter Haug. In front of him is 7th place man, Andy Pallet, on bike number 5. Still leading is Michael Packy. Mariattini is still in 2nd place. We're looking back down at 44, Shashovic. He's in 5th place. This is the man in a lonely 5th at the moment. Or is it lonely? Not.
It's going to be a bit more crowded soon. He's twice been a European championship. Packy leading, 8.6 seconds now from Mariattini. Spike Edwards hanging in there in 3rd place. But maybe Gian Dorgex is getting his second breath, Keith, and coming back at him. Then there's a big gap back to the man we were just looking at, number 44, Stefan Shashovic. Here is Spike. Mike Edwards, his real name, known to all and sundry in the paddock as Spike.
You only got to see the haircut to realise why. Mike Edwards, he's a very good 600 rider. He's a very underestimated rider.
Yes.
Had a bit of a go on a Harley over the last year, trying to make that work for him. He's a bit of a journeyman, isn't he, as far as teams and bikes are concerned?
Keith, he came to the Bold Oar last year to ride for the Phase 1 lads, and he helped them to 2nd place, one of the privateer achievements of the year, and it was Mike's first ever endurance race. He found himself on a rostrum next to Christian Saron. He confessed himself moderately surprised by this experience. He wore his old black leathers, and with that fearsome physog of his, the French crowds loved him. They thought, here's a real Northern English hero they had to... so he thoroughly enjoyed it. So he went to Macau and set the lap record on the rock as well. First time on a two-stroke.
Mike Edwards we're talking about. He's the man in third place at currently, of course, on bike number 2. In front of him is Michael Packy. Camillo Mariottini is in second place on bike 26. But it's Mike Edwards we were looking at. Now we're back with the race leader, Michael Packy. Well, I suppose the only stressful situation here is back markers. And he's right. Yep. Oh, that back marker shut the door on him well and truly there.
That's not very clever, number 64.
No, it's not very clever at all, and he'll be in deep trouble there. Dernicourt, another Frenchman, giving him a real hard time, and Packy goes through, but I suppose he's got so much in hand. Well, you can take your time, you can make a hand signal, you wait till the bloke's out the way and just squirt your way by.
And Michael Packy doesn't even deign to acknowledge the bloke's existence. Here's Shishowovich, number 44, and that is Stefan Chambon. He's the guy. Keith, you saw those pictures of a guy stopping and doing all that stuff at Hockenheim? It was Stefan, the Supermoto champion of France.
He's unbelievable, trying to emulate Jean-Michel Bayle, the other superb French motocrosser, and Chambon, well... certainly looks like he's going to be working on Shishowovich in a moment. He's
the Guidon d'Or specialist, that supermotard hybrid race the French run. He's a tiny guy, Stefan Chambon.
I was going to say Jean-Michel Bayle manages to beat Chambon every time he goes out there and does a guest appearance.
Well, that's true as well. Jean-Michel Bayle is a deity rather than an ordinary human being. And Stefan's brother, Boris Chambon, also does the supermotard class and puts in an occasional appearance at endurance races and European Supersport racing. But Shishowovich, number 44 there, he's a man with lots and lots of form. 2 championships in this class.
So Chambon hunted him down and got ours. Is Chambon going to be able to make a pass? We're up towards Redgate now as Shishowovich looks over his shoulder and Chambon's right there. And Chambon, well, maybe he takes to the grass just occasionally to test it out and see if he's still got his supermotard skills to the front.
It won't phase Stefan, I can tell you. He's on a Ducati riding for Sima, the French importer. Same as that man Mouchet, who we saw at the start, get the whole shot and then disappear. Number 44, Stefan Shishowovich, a more conventional rider, the team Ruf Rowland Salter Racing Kawasaki. So, Japanese 4-cylinder bike versus Italian V-twin bike. Good Lord, the superbikes are getting even more like superbike than ever. Form on these two, Keith, what do you reckon?
Well, it's superb form, we can see that, but it's all going to be a bit of a test of nerve towards the end. I think that it looks to me like number 27 there, Stefan Chambon, is hanging back just a little bit towards the end of this race. Even if he gets in front of Shishowovich, it's going to be a problem for him to hold on to it, I think, and he's not going to catch Dog X because he's too far in front. It's the 5th and 6th place dice we are looking at between 44, Stefan Shishowovich of Germany, and 27, Stefan Chambon of France. I can confirm Andy Pallot is still in 7th place. Jason Emmett has dropped to 10th place now, so 2 Brits on the leaderboard for the Supersport 600 race here. Dave Martin on the Kawasaki, that's him, I see, lurking up at 12th place. Dave Heel in 14th. Another man who's been in this class for a long time, Dave Heel, that band of British privateers that went out and, as we said, sorted out Johnny Foreigner when Supersport 600 was first invented. Now the boot is well and truly on the other foot, and the Continentals are sorting our boys out. Well and truly, I think, in this particular case. Yes, it's a no-contest job, really, isn't it? With the honourable exception of Spike Edwards, a man for whom I have the utmost admiration. He can ride anything, anywhere, that bloke. We're on lap 20 of the 24 laps, still leading Michael Packy. Here he is, bike 12. In 2nd place is Camillo Mariottini. In 3rd place is Mike Edwards. Dog X is still 4th. Shishowovich is still 5th. Chambon is 6th. Andy Pallot 7th. Peter Haug is up to 8th. Eberl is in 9th place, and Jason Emmett is in 10th. Mr. Haug has dropped back. We thought he was going to do a bit more, didn't we, Keith? He obviously wound the wick up for a couple of laps, scared himself a bit, and has retreated back down to 8th place. But look at that, Michael Packy has got the whole length of the straight, nearly 10 seconds in hand on the championship leader, Camillo Mariottini. Spike Edwards, well, he can't relax because Jean Dorgex is still just about within range of him, but it's a fairly lonely race at the moment, and Dorgex has got nothing to worry about because Shishowovich and Chambon are duffing each other up way behind him. We have to keep our eye on the gap between Edwards and Dorgex, though. Here's that punch-up again. Yeah, 44 is still Shashovic leading Stefan Chambon. Chambon's quick on the brakes down into the S's.
That's Shashovic we're looking at. 27, remind you, is Stefan Chambon, riding the French importers Ducati. Notice that they seem to paint the 748cc Ducatis yellow and the 916s red. They copy Ferrari, don't they?
Well, who would blame them? It's a formula that seems to have worked in the past.
And if you haven't seen motorcycle racing and know nothing about motorcycles, if you think of as a Ducati as a Ferrari on two wheels, you won't go far wrong, would you?
You'd be close, absolutely.
And that includes the tug on the heartstrings it has, not just Italians, but also of us Northern Europeans, who are inclined usually to be somewhat less romantic.
Tug on the heartstrings, and of course the rather large tug on the bank balance.
Yeah, you're not kidding. It's, even with the lira down the tubes, worse than the pound sterling, these things are hideously expensive.
Fancy a partnership in a Ferrari, Julian? As long as I've got it a weekend.
Thank you very much. Another generous offer from Keith, and lovely shots of Stefan Chambon on the 748 Cima Ducati, holding a much tighter line through the left there than Stefan Shashovic, number 44, on the Kawasaki. Here's oh, look at that.
Let's take another look at this then. This is our super slow-mo camera at the old hairpin, and really you can see the fork legs of the bike, the upside-down forks there, working very, very hard indeed. Well, not working very hard is the leader, number 12, Michael Packy. He has absolutely just dominated this class, this race. I'm amazed at how good he's going. He's
lapping over a second quicker than Mariotini, the championship leader, in second place. And he's making it look so easy. It's not like this is a field that's free of class riders, is it, Keith? I mean, the lad is really putting on an exhibition.
And he's making it very hard for us, because we're running out of things to say about him. Superlatives we have used all the way through it. 10.5 seconds now. Well, and the rest, I think.
Yeah, use the egg timer, not the stopwatch for that one.
We're going to need a calendar if he gets much further in front.
But it's going to push him up the championship.
Oh, Andy Pallett back with, there's that battle that we've been looking for a little while. Peter Haug seems to be back there with Andy Pallett. That's the battle for 7th place. So 49 is Haug, 5 is Andy Pallett. That is 7th and 8th held at the moment by Andy Pallett in 7th.
Andy Pallett, the only Briton regularly doing the whole of this series. Somewhat depressed by the non-competitiveness of his CBR Honda. He was hoping for rain or a patchy track with a dry line as he got in qualifying, when he really looked good. A very precise rider. Not as desperate as some of the lads in Super Sport 600 can be. Andy can duke it out if he needs to, but he's a nice, smooth... Well, he's a veteran now, I suppose, really, isn't he, Andy? 31 years old.
Well, I suppose you can call it a veteran, but of course in the Super Sport 600 class, well, there's some good fighters in there. We've already talked about Mike Edwards. We're back now with 44 and 27. That's Shashovic and Stefan Chambon in 5th and 6th places. And this really is the biggest battle on the track.
And the question we're all asking, is Chambon on the Ducati, taking the mickey, waiting for the last lap to motor past the Kawasaki?
Well, he's not got long to try it, because very soon we're going to be on the last lap. These two men have been jockeying for position all the way around here. And is your prediction coming No, I think he's taking a look. It's a bit of a scam there going on. I think 27 there. Stefan Chambon is just taking a look where he's going to make the manoeuvre at some later stage. Certainly seems to find it very easy to go any part of the track he wants to.
Yes, he was swinging right across the track there well before the real hard braking happened, wasn't he? Shashovic gets a twitch on into the Melbourne loop. Chambon 2 or 3 bike lengths back. Watch this Ducati punch out of the hairpin. Not on a tighter line, though. This is where the Dukes are supposed to take it out of the force. Leaping out of the corner. On the brakes again for the tricky left-hander at Goddard's. The Dukes right with the Kawasaki. The Frenchman right with the German. Yup, that's it. I get it right. I called him Swiss last time. I apologise. Over the start-finish into Redgate. Money on Chambon?
Couple of laps to go then. Yeah, I think I've got a couple of quid on Chambon. I don't know what the odds are down at the Labyrinth building here at the moment, but Chambon seems to be the man at the moment that's got it about covered. He's not going to show anything to him until the last lap, though, is he? He's really going to keep his secret until number 44, Shashovic, gets the runaround from Chambon. Surely it's going to happen.
But Shashovic, oh, there he goes. Woo!
Well, right on cue. At the old hairpin, underneath he goes. So Chambon then, Stefan Chambon has come out of the closet and shown what he's got to Shashovic, and he did it in big style. Well, very close indeed, but perfectly timed there from Chambon.
I was just about to say that Shashovic is a vastly more experienced road racer than Stefan Chambon, who's really a sideways merchant on the dirt. But he really stuck it to him there at the old hairpin, didn't he? Nice move from little Stefan. Tiny guy.
Something like a lap and a half to go now. Stefan Chambon, having showed his hand, has really got to try and make the break if it can. Otherwise, Shashovich will be up the inside. But I think the Ducati man has it covered. The Kawasaki, though, was thundering down that straight. You can see the top end. And he ran wide there. Chambon ran wide going in there. And Shashovich is back by. So it all has to be done again.
Oh, we're in for an interesting last lap here, aren't we, lads? Shashovich, the old dear, bouncing there again. Does that every lap, you know.
Well, yeah, but if he runs wide, that's going to be the problem. And that's the one that Chambon had at the S's. Chambon's right there now, up towards Goddard they go. To start, I think, the last lap of this
Seconded.
race.
Here's the
leader. He's already halfway down Craner curves. Michael Packy has been superb. In second place, Camillo Mariottini on bike 26 that we haven't seen for some time. Then it's Mike Edwards in third place. Dorgex fourth, Shashovich fifth, Chambon in sixth.
But those last two you mentioned are very close together indeed. Andy Pallett still in seventh, I believe he was last time round. He's not, yes, he's through again, just going in front of us in seventh place with Haug, nearly a third of a second behind him. Packy is taking the mickey again, isn't he? It got a bit too near 10 seconds for him, so he's just stretched out again. Well, get your money on this lad for a World Superbike ride next year, hopefully with a competitive team. He didn't have it last year, just the odd couple of points on an RC45 last year, and a lot of crashes. And you can see from this form, that is not his normal style at all. Lovely bloke, nice chap, speaks about 5 languages, a real star.
And a little 748 Ducati, a little wheelie there out of the S's down towards Melbourne for the last time. Just one right-hander, just one left-hander to do. He has been superb throughout this race. He's nowhere near his qualifying pole time. He has that set again, pole time, fastest lap and a race win. It's been a great Donington Park in the Super Sport 600 for this man, Michael Packy. Just this left-hander to go across the line. It's going to be the Belgian, Michael Packy, that takes a race win. A superb wheelie there for him. Yes, I'm number one today.
You watch for the wheelie from Stefan Chambon when he gets round, assuming he's got time. But that's great stuff for Michael Packy, a star of the future. Remember the name. And still, the second, Mariottini across the line, 10 seconds behind. Here's Shashovich and Chambon.
Oh, look at Chambon's up the inside of Goddard. Chambon is going to do it. And if he can hold that line nice and tight, he's going to take that third place. Oh, dear me. Big cycle. Julian's about 6 foot out over the desk in here. So Chambon...
I've the experience to do that against Shashovich. It's Pallett. Haug in front of him. Haug's mugged Andy Pallett on the last lap. That's a shame for Andy. Through in 7th goes Haug. 8th for Andy Pallett. That's a shame. Was that a... Yes, that was a OK, mate sign, I think, wasn't it?
All right. I don't know whether it was, to be honest. So there it is. Packy wins from Mariottini. Mike Edwards gets a lonely 3rd place. Dorgex, another lonely 4th place. Stefan Chambon, eventually, Julian said it was experience. I thought it was something else that probably got in front of Shashovich.
Lack of experience in Chambon's case, I think, Keith. Didn't know he shouldn't be able to do that. Michael Packy, absolutely, you're not kidding. The phrase "don't care" springs to mind. But that is as impressive as dominating a performance as you'll see anywhere this year in any class. Michael Packy only amazingly down in 5th equal in the championship at the moment, making progress. Mike Edwards on the left, number 2, a really brave try to stay with superior machinery, and I'm glad to report that at least he gets rewarded with a rostrum, Keith, at a World Championship meeting.
Absolutely, but it was Michael Packy that dominated the day. Well, Camillo Mariottini came from a long way back as well into 2nd place, so that was good from him. So Michael Edwards in 3rd place, beaten by 2 very good men.
Well, there's Packy coming in. Now, here's this last lap encounter. Stefan Chambon on the inside, Shashovich on the outside. I thought the old guy on the outside would be able to outfox him, but no. Chambon's got the line. Chambon does it tight. Shashovich tries to get it to the line, nearly high-sides himself, pinged right up out of the saddle. All he can do to stay with it, and I'm sorry, Stefan, you have to settle for 6th place. Great dice. Well, strung out at the front, but there were some dices well worth watching lower down the field. It's Mr. Packy coming into his pit, the one he shares with Marco Lucinelli, who he sadly lost earlier on. Right, there's the result. Packy by over 10 seconds from Camillo Mariottini, the championship leader. Mike Edwards in 3rd place, a rostrum for the Wigan man. Now let's get a look at Michael, see how hard the day at the office has been for him. The Flamini greeting party are there to conduct him to the rostrum. And I advise you to remember the name, take a look at the face, file them away in the memory banks, because he's a lad we're going to see more of, I would suggest. A genuine class act. And as we all know, it's not enough just to have the talent. He is backed by an excellent, well-funded team in this European Championship. Mariotini. There's Mariotini. Second place. And championship leader, Camillo Mariotini, maintains his lead in the championship. He's second place. We're waiting for third place man Mike Edwards to put in an appearance as we look at a slow-mo of Michael Packy on his slow-down lap, acknowledging the crowd. Ah, there's Mike, there's Spike. He works really, really hard for that third place. At least Mike gets to get on the rostrum. Back with Packy, the winner. Won by over 10 seconds, and maybe even Keith Hewen will get to believe in that 1 minute 39.5 qualifying time that Packy had for pole position. It was nearly, what, 2 seconds quicker than anybody else. He didn't get within that time during the race, but he didn't appear to break sweat either. He was able to turn the wick up at will. So that's the first question, I think, for Keith when we get back to him a little later in the programme. I wonder if he believes that pole position time yet. I look to the left out of the commentary box and I can see them assembling on the rostrum. That is Mike Edwards, looking moderately pleased with his third place. Realistically, it's all he could expect, we have to say. That is Camillo Mariotini, the championship leader. And here's the main man, Michael Packy, every inch the future champion. And let's make an assumption, every inch a World Superbike Works racer next year.
So there it is then, Mike Edwards, third place man. He looks very, very happy with that indeed. Michael Packy, though, on top of the rostrum. And Camillo Mariotini, well, he looks pretty happy as well in second place. Well, after the break, we've got the European 250 Championship and, of course, Carl Fogarty Part 2 on the Superbikes. We'll see you.